Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome to this webcast presented by Projectum and a guest note speaker from Convatec. We are going to address Power PPM, the preferred PPM platform of ours, and in relation to NPD projects. New product development is the topic today. You know, the subheader here on the first screen of my presentation says strategic portfolio management as a sub-headliner, and that's really the thing that we like to think that we do as a company. A very warm welcome again. My name is Jes. We have this agenda prepared for you today. First of all, we'll just present ourselves, who's speaking. Then we'll move to just briefly explain to you about the new Microsoft Power Platform and PPM. Then you're going to see a Power PPM live demo. It's going to be a fast-paced one based on showing you key capabilities in relation to new product development headed by me. And then towards the end, we will have a customer case, and it's going to be Convatec about their Power PPM implementation and the new product development focus they have. And with us, we have Kristen. Kristen, what can we expect later on, and what is your background for doing this today?
Hi everybody, I'm Kristen Brown. I'm an Associate Director in our Technology and Innovation function at Convatec, and I work within the Portfolio Management organisation of that. So I'm responsible for the planning and execution of new product development projects and have oversight of a number of our portfolios within the business. My background's very pharmaceutical and med tech for the last 15 years or so, and I've worked in project management for around about 10 years of that. And why I'm here today, we've been working hard at Convatec to enhance and strengthen our new product development projects and portfolios and how we manage them. We've done things very manual in terms of Excel sheets and PowerPoints, and we really wanted to move to a cloud-based system to help us be more efficient in managing our projects and portfolios. So we looked to get with a Microsoft partner in order to help us do that. So today I'm just going to talk around some of the challenges we had and how the Power PPM system and working with Projectum is driving us forward to be more efficient. So I look forward to sharing with you later.
That's going to be very interesting. I'm for one looking forward. Kristen, the company is very international and global in its nature. What are we talking about approximately in size?
Yeah, so we're a global company. We're around about 8,000 employees across the globe. So we do our developments over in the UK, but we've got manufacturing locations all over the place, predominantly in Europe and over in the Dominican and in the US as well. So we're quite wide globally, and we've got a number of business units that looks at medical technology, continence, critical care, infusion care, ostomy care and wound care. So a bit about Convatec.
All right, that's going to be super interesting. I'm really looking forward. Then you could say the final bullet point here is the Q&A session where Kristen and I can both answer to specific questions for us. Let's save 5 or 10 minutes for that. Other than that, I really hope you will enjoy the show. As I said, my name is Jes. I'm representing Team Commercial at Projectum, and we'll be giving you the live demo of Power PPM. But first, the flying in, and a little bit about us. We have this motto, the customer promise of staying ahead always, and this relates to that we took on the power technology very early on. We are moving from being known as a Microsoft PPM partner to becoming a full-blown Power Platform partner. You can see here a quote from one of the Microsoft executives, what they expect from us in the future. We have been formerly Microsoft PPM Partner of the Year globally, and now we are actually becoming more of a Power Platform in the near future. The other thing of a customer promise that I really want to highlight here is the amazing user experience, as we put it. you will see today that I'm going to show you very flexible and very user-friendly technology and a Power PPM solution that is hopefully very user-friendly. Please take me up on that and reconfirm to me later. So the components, the different products we're going to focus on today is primarily Power PPM, of course. The core PPM solution is essentially a model-driven Power app. Then we'll just have a glimpse on an add-on product for resource and capacity management that we call Team Planner. And of course, you should also just see the associated reporting, both in terms of automated reporting in PowerPoint and a little bit of portfolio reporting in Power BI. That's what we have planned. Now, this looks a bit more like an IT slide. However, I just wanted to, again, sort of tell you that are tech savvy and IT interested that the core Power PPM solution resides here in the Microsoft Power Platform and is essentially an enterprise-ready Power app, a model-driven Power app. And then you can see some of the other add-on products, they draw on Microsoft Azure databases, but these would in fact be your own databases if we were to work together. So you would buy them as bring your own database from Microsoft, and we would be GDPR compliant with everything we do together. So Power PPM would be on your cloud tenant, and you would have your own databases with your own data. To focus on the Power Platform itself, I will not read anything on this slide, everything on this slide, but rather we will share the slides with you afterwards, and Jonathan will make sure to send this out to you. However, I just want to highlight again, the core Power PPM product is based on the Power Platform, which means that we will see a Power app in play. As I said, it's what is called a model-driven Power app, which means it's very easy for a PMO to set up security roles. In the Kristen case, it could be like she's a PMO lead and has certain rights to the system. Then there are certain portfolio managers and project managers with different viewing rights and reading rights. Power Automate is the technology that transport data and we can use to integrate with other line of business systems. And finally, Power BI as the preferred technology for reporting, but a very flexible one and something that super users can learn how to navigate themselves and create reports and dashboards and maintain the reports after we've done a phase 1 together. And as you can see, the reporting piece is always rated as #1 in different independent research companies' scoring of reporting technology. So Microsoft Power BI is certainly leading in that area. One more thing I wanted to tell you about today is that it's really an open ecosystem. Here you can see some of the integrations that Microsoft provides out of the box in the Power Platform. You can see here there is, for instance, connected to SAP HANA here, SAP here. Also Salesforce, Oracle, IBM, even Amazon. And if you have another line of business system in mind that is not on the list, chances are they are on another connector list from Microsoft. But most line of business systems can in fact give us data in a flat file format or in some sort of web API, web service format. So this is kindly provided by Microsoft, and who would have thought Microsoft is really trying to push an open ecosystem, creating a holistic platform, which also goes for Power PPM that we can integrate with other line of business systems and make this very flexible without any third-party expensive integration technologies is the point. So I hope good news for everyone out there. Well, let's come to the topic of today and the NPD sort of flow, workflow, stage gate requirements. Power PPM can be configured to display almost any portfolio, any project model. And you can see here, I have the new product development on my list. By utilizing different PPM disciplines that we have in Power PPM out of the box. For NPD, it could be interesting that we have a good strategy section. Certainly the portfolio management and the portfolio overview is important. The governance and the stage gate model to resemble a good NPD flow, to name a few. We can take on these different capabilities as you grow with the solution. So we don't need to switch all the functionality on from the beginning, but rather create a limited phase one that is spot on in terms of any burning platform you have and what is the most important in a phase one. So in other words, we can, and we use our controlled agility framework to do that, give you the portfolio management solution of your dreams. We can create the right governance. In this case, an NPD flow, the project model is configurable, the workflow is configurable. We can create business cases, the strategy piece, and both cover traditional projects, agile projects, and dealing with fixed teams. The people side is covered, and the actual work, if we want to take everything into the picture, and all is facilitated via Microsoft Teams. If you want, there's a big element of team collaboration. This is the vision. I hope you really like it out there. From a tech standpoint, we would answer with some of these components I shared earlier. I do not have time to deep dive into this today, but rather again say to you that I will focus on the Power PPM, the core PPM solution, and a few interesting add-ons today. So, final slide. We sat down one day and summarized what we would say is the most important thing when you as a customer should choose a PPM solution, or you're about to choose a PPM solution. We think that you should think about choosing something that's a future-proof technology. And I really hope I can make the case for the Power Platform today. I'm going to make a big push for that. Then, choose something that is a cloud technology. In fact, we are representing the Microsoft Cloud platform, but it will be Power PPM will come on your cloud tenant. You will own the data. So it's not a SaaS solution as such, but the best of a cloud solution and the best of the Microsoft platform, that you still own your solution and can configure things, business logic, according to your wishes. This is as opposed to buying a out of the one size fits all sort of system, a proprietary system, where you have to do a lot of recoding and have to call somebody to have something recoded. We think this is the right approach. And speaking of the user-friendly I touched upon earlier, we really think that with Power PPM we have something to show you that both has the advanced capabilities, at the same time makes it very user-friendly and intuitive to navigate. This is essential to your choice. I would recommend, since that we are actually going for getting to become data-driven as a PMO, as a company, and then you have to trust data is the point, right? So user-friendly, it's not just about the colors and the superficial things you see in the platform, but also that the business logic makes sense to users. Low operating cost comes with the relatively affordable Microsoft licenses. In this case, you need a Power App per app plan as a minimum for all users of Power PPM, but again, affordable. It should be easy to maintain and adjust, and I can promise you that with Power PPM, a super user or super users can learn how to maintain and adjust also the reporting, as I said earlier. So with that, I think we're ready, and I cannot make a full demo of Power PPM today. It's going to be the most relevant PPM disciplines only related to new product development, and then you can always catch up with us again to see the full functionality. I will go live, and I hope everyone can see my browser. All right, so here we are, live in Power PPM. First of all, you can see here that we have a possibility to create a portal experience. Preferably, this should be your own company, layout or corporate identity. So with the right pictures and your logo. Also, the headlines here could point to other areas of the solution, but the boxes, takes you directly to these working areas. Then you can see it's part of Office 365, and so just as much standard technology as SharePoint, but instead it says Power Apps. Now it's a model-driven Power App. This means it's an enterprise edition of Power Apps that makes it very easy for your IT department to control rollouts, even control rollouts from Microsoft. It also means that we can help you push updates to Power PPM in a very controlled fashion and governed fashion. And other than that, it's very easy to create security roles. In this system, you can see here, I am identified as an account manager, but in fact, this draws from the Microsoft credentials normally. The truth is, I'm actually more of an administrator in this sales demo environment. Now, we can go to projects and look at that, and you can see something. The first point I would like to make, the first differentiator. If you look at this, this list constitutes a portfolio overview in itself, you could argue. But look, there is a certain freedom of choice on the execution tool. So the planning tool can vary. There is the task engine, the Power Gantt, a Gantt chart, easy to navigate in Power PPM or in the Power Platform. There's the Agile Microsoft tool for the IT PMO or development projects. Also Jira, outside the family even. And you can see good old project and even a planner for something like your marketing department. So that's the first big takeaway. There's a certain freedom on execution tool, and I hope that's very welcome. I wanted to show you in relation to a good NPD flow that we can start somewhere completely else than going directly into the projects. There could be an idea area on your solution. Let me just show you a random idea here in our list. You could have it available for business users to go in and score the ideas, which is pretty important in a new product development scenario of idea generation. But different business users can go in and score as to strategic fit or sense of urgency. And once you've proceeded with the scoring, you can press the button to say, is it funded? Yes, no, and then create it as a project. It will literally pop up a second after in the project list, and then you would be ready to go and put metadata to your project. Now, this could also be supplemented with a workflow on the idea, on the individual idea. So if that is a wish, we could also have a workflow here, even with a small stage gate approval kind of thing, where an email goes out to the manager to approve that we move ahead in the idea generation phase. Another way to start would be to look at the demand management and do we have the resources to getting started? We could use the Team Planner tool to do a high-level resource request process. Imagine if I am the project manager, I can get my projects in from a list, could be from Power PPM or other sources. I've now chosen this particular project. I want to make a request, but in this case, as a project manager, the project team should only be able to make a request on a role. I can go in, find that I need a role from this department, and I dragged it in. That's what I did before as a pre-cooking this kind of demo. I can ask for a specific person. I did here in the commentary. I actually asked for Paul because I've been working with him previously, but the project manager shouldn't decide. Instead, the line manager. The line manager goes in, and on the allocation bottom, you can then, as a line manager give away the named resource. In this case, I have put Casper in there, as you can see, by again drag dropping. We think that's a really nice feature. If you don't like the drag drop capability, you can press the plus button and Casper pops into the grid. But the request was made to 5 hours. I can see from this bar already here that the green, red, and distribution allocated to 9% only, that we could in fact use Casper. That what the line manager, he or she, will know from this bar, and then good to go. We drag him in. Now we can answer the request for 5 hours with giving 5 hours away, and we have a column here as a line manager that says free capacity. So you can actually see that Casper had free capacity and also has in the months to come. We can look at this, by the way, in a monthly, weekly, or daily overview. Many customers in the life science pharma area stay in months. We use Team Planner ourselves, of course, as a consulting company. We look in weeks, and certain construction companies would like to go all the way down to one day. What you get out of this process is, any resource heat map report of your dreams. Actually, it will tell you if you can, meet the project demand and have the resources to getting started. The capacity, there can be a long-term, medium range in how you look at things, but also very short-term call to actions. Look here, for instance, for this Power BI for the team manager, you can see that one BI consultant is utterly over allocated, but other team members with the same role have free time to spare. So just by looking at this Power BI report, you can say, that you have some actions. You can see the stacked capacity versus, the allocated hours and drill down into data. And I also wanted to show you the project manager report, because again, we can have certain resource heat map reports, but also if you're doing timesheeting, even in a different system outside the Microsoft family, we can have actuals coming in. Power BI can, make use of many data sources to get the actual in comparison to the requested. Allocated, you will also have what people have been working on. And to take that one a step further, if you do strategic projects out in time and do the requests and maybe some placeholder allocations, you can see even months out in time what your capacity looks like and what you can take in of new projects. So this is how our customers in life science or pharma typically use it to see the long-term capacity. Now back to Power PPM. I want to show you another way in relation to new product strategy that we could start again with the project level and go crazy and start populating a project, but we could also start in the strategy area by creating a business driver. Could be a list of, and let's see, look at one, a bit of metadata, and then you have the strategic driver that you are after supporting. You can even create a strategic theme that could be consisting of more drivers and bundle them together like that. This would enable us, in theory, I'm going to show you something I think is very mind-blowing now, that if you have the money, the starting budget for a strategic portfolio, and we have the strategy in place, the drivers, then we can create a portfolio top down before even creating the projects. Now I'm going to show you a pre-cooked one, the Grow portfolio, but it's as easy as pressing this one. Then you have the name created, and then if you have the funding, put it in here, and then you already have the portfolio container ready, which you then can put some health indicators on. Later, as we then add projects, you can have the portfolio budget, etc., calculated, and this little log here indicates that now the portfolio budget in this example is actually being calculated because we added projects later. Let me just show you that. So from the portfolio area, if you have the strategic portfolio and the container established, we can then add the related projects as easy as pressing this button. And then you can choose from certain enterprise project templates. It could be NPD projects small, it could be NPD projects larger, or whatever you would like to call them. And in fact, you can see here in this example, we have a portfolio consisting of many projects with even executed in different planning tools. If you find a project to belong to the portfolio from the list I showed you in the beginning, the bigger list of projects, you can find it and add it as easy as this and put it into the portfolio. So the point is, before, when we were working with SharePoint technologies and many other PPM, even competing platforms is the same, you would be dependent on having a list of projects before you have, quote, a portfolio overview. And our customers have asked for years and years, what about, can we also work top down instead, creating the portfolio and take it from there? Now I can deliver on that. I hope you really enjoy it out there. And this corresponds often to the wishes of a modern PMO. But let's just try a look at the project from the project level. So more like a bottom-up example. I will show you, any of these examples could be good, but you can add a new project by pressing this button, and then imagine that you can choose from certain enterprise project templates. I will show you a pretty quick one again. We call this project Accelerated Growth. When we chose that name and established the project, you could make it so that it also established a Teams channel with the name of that project, and then you're good to go to collaborate in Teams, share documents. But now the PPM solution gives birth to your structure and the ways of working together. Another thing, I told you about the different templates on an overall level. In this example, we have Power PPM advanced projects. You can see I have many tabs here, but I also have the simple one. Imagine what that could mean in your context. It could also be actually NPD projects and IT projects, like totally different templates that have different governance models. So theoretically, there could be a different stage gate model up here. But you can see by choosing the simple form or template, I have a lot less tabs. And this is the simple edition. But please notice it saved the data from where I started in the advanced one. And then you can still make up your mind change your mind and go back if it's the wrong template and choose the other one, and you will still have metadata. I find this very fascinating. Then, something that has finally arrived in business software that you can just type in, that in this case, this project is going really, really well, and you don't have to push the save button anymore. The solution just remembers whatever we do. Very intuitive, and that's what makes it so nice to work in. Another thing is you have these buttons, the active controls in Power. The Power platform allows you to press buttons instead of having drop-down menus, and that you sort of force project managers to write a lot of metadata. Now, look here, we have the belonging to the Grow portfolio. So by clicking this, I can actually jump back to the portfolio level. You saw that? I jumped from here to here, and we are back in the Grow portfolio I showed you before. And we can go back again by pressing the back button. This could then be the NPD stage gate model of your dreams. I just want to show you as one of the few final things here, how relatively fast the workflow response is. But then moreover, if you have submitted to the next stage, you can even roll back the logic again. So the workflow, the stage gating is dynamic and can even handle the rolling back of a business logic. I hope that you really like it out there. It's such a fantastic thing. Apart from that, you have the gate approvals and the things you're probably looking for. We can set up as mandatory or optional, also according to a certain NPD flow that suits you. We don't have time to go through all the functionality today. The Power Gantt, the easy web-based execution tool, you will get a glimpse of. It's as nice looking at this, and I would argue that most project managers can learn how to navigate it. Even just by start just playing with it, and you will find out that it's very easy compared to the more advanced Microsoft project. Creating a dependency is as easy as this, as you can just drag here and then create a dependency. There can be multiple people. In fact, here it's Peter and myself who are listed on a task, the workshop task, you can see. And then we actually have more advanced functionality, such as you can add critical milestones, etc., on your plan. Another thing, you can set KPI status. We have a financial grid. This can be configured, of course, to resemble your cost breakdown structure, and then configured to resemble a flow again in new product development. The point is, we want to make it easy for the project manager to type in data, so at the end of the day, that we can create an easy estimate to complete an overview for the PMO and upper management. There's the risk list, of course, but not just the mandatory, list. A SharePoint list is not just a SharePoint list. It also gives you this little diagram here, the thing that tells you the severity and creates a certain livelihood on the page. Finally, if you don't want to execute documents in Teams and need a more classic folder structure, we can provide that by utilizing modern SharePoint, and you will have the folders and can create your documents on the project and have it in here. And when all this is done, or those disciplines that you see fit in your solution or in Wave 1, in time before the Friday morning steering group meeting, the project manager can then go in and add a new presentation. I'm going to show you the week 8, status report full, just a pre-cooked one. And the project manager can pull an automated report from what we just did. Look, it opens PowerPoint, then we open the file, and it goes equally fast, although this is a pre-cooked one. So here the project manager would have the status report in PowerPoint in your template with the most critical data, and we can have 10 slides. We can also have the risk matrix and critical milestones here, whatever you see fit in the status reports of your dreams, and everybody can arrive in the Friday morning status group steering group meeting, and it's fantastic that we finally give something back to the project manager, so that that you also get your report. Finally, we probably have to look at the reporting for the PMO and the management before I hand it over to you, Kristen. There are some out-of-the-box dashboards as part of the Power PPM ecosystem, but also you can utilize Power BI. Microsoft Power BI can be embedded in Power PPM, so you have the strategic reports here, but embedded in your PPM solution. I find that very fascinating, and you can see here, there are certain strategic dashboards. If this was a real company, you can see that we are actually not using any budget against a pretty important priority. So clearly that's wrong. Just one more example for you. If we were to recreate a new product development kind of stage gate, imagine that your own project model here, and you want to see only the projects in this stage, you can click it, and it shows you those 10 or 8 or 10 projects in that stage, and even tells you the input system. This was in fact project, as you can see, good old project that was used as a planning tool, and then zoom out again, and you have the overview of the entire new product development flow in your solution. I think that was it. It was a power demo today of Power PPM. Sorry for being cheesy, but let's see customer case, a real life customer case. And Kristen, over to you.
Thanks, Jes. Give me a sec while I share my screen. Okay. Are we good?
Looks good.
Great. Fantastic. Okay, hi everybody. So just to kick off, I must apologise in advance. I would love to be sharing a live demo of our customer system with you. Unfortunately, because we are a new product development company, a lot of our projects and portfolio are highly confidential. So today I'm just going to take you through a PowerPoint slide just to show you how we use the system. But that's why today I can't do the live demo. But just to give you a bit of background on how we started working with Projectum and choosing the Power PPM solution. So our project kicked off last year, quite late on last year. We pulled together a lengthy business case justification as to why we wanted a more systematic approach to managing projects and portfolios. So this was our initial problem statement that we came up with. And the key theme for that is we wanted to be more efficient as a company and obviously just get a better level of consistency in how we run and execute projects and how we prioritise our portfolios. We found there was a number of challenges that we saw as project and portfolio managers. There's a couple of examples which I'm sure some of you probably see yourself. It's not an exhaustive list, but we spend quite a bit of non-value added time creating, Excel spreadsheets and slides. And there's a lack of consistency in how we report and manage our projects, and we really wanted to get better at that. And we really wanted to explore how we can better utilise our resources and allocate them, and also have a mandatory new product development process that we follow, and an automated workflow that goes alongside that. And in addition, we've got many projects like many big businesses have, and we wanted some support as to how we could prioritise that better. So they're just some of the examples of why we wanted to move to a more system-based approach. We did some evaluation of different systems that were on offer, but we eventually selected the Power platform application and the Power PPM tool itself. And we started work with Projectum as our MS partner late last year. So there's a couple of points as to why we chose the Power PPM system. It was an off-the-shelf, out-the-box solution, so there was minimal configuration involved. For me, the Power applications are just great from a usability perspective. We at Convatec are used to using Microsoft-based applications, so for us it was very easy to take up. The aesthetics and the reporting functionality within the Power PPM system is really, really familiar. It's got a great user interface, and obviously it integrates well with a number of Microsoft applications we use today. One Jes has already mentioned is the Teams application. And key really for us was to be able to manage projects as much as possible in an online system perspective, and then have the ability to bring the projects up in our reporting forums rather than sending across slides and going through them instead. So our internal KPI is to try and get the PMs working 75% of their time in systems going forward when they're running their projects. So in addition to those points, our future roadmap is largely Microsoft orientated, and obviously virtual working's on the increased. So working in a system like this is preferred. I've already mentioned we work globally, and so to be able to be in one system and talk to people over Teams in other locations around the globe is just making that a lot more efficient and a lot easier. And basically it's got such a great future as a business enterprise solution. There's so many Power solutions on offer, and really, really useful integration functions. So for us as a business, it really supports our future from a digital perspective. And what was good as well, we've got a business unit within our company that was already starting to use MS Project Online, which was the predecessor, and they've been working with Projectum as well as their MS partner. That's bedded well in that into their business. So we felt like Power PPM for all of our business units was the natural next step. Okay, so a bit about how it looks. So Jes has covered pretty well how you can set up an idea portion of the system. We've pretty much adopted that. We had a couple of workshops with Projectum where we built up user stories for how we want our ideas to go into the system and how we can convert them to development. So we've pretty much gone with the out-of-the-box look and feel for categorising our ideas. And as Jes mentioned, there's a number of fields and metadata that you can input there to list out your ideas. And we've gone with the stage gate process as well. So our internal new product development process has 2 stages. We pitch an idea and then we research a bit and we pitch the research piece. So this is a really nice way for us to capture the idea. And it's also somewhere where we can also store our gate reviews and also click the workflow button to move it from stage to stage. So we know exactly where all of our ideas are at and whether it's worth taking them forward. So this has been a really great implementation for us. And I think Jes mentioned that there's a click button where you can convert that to a project if there's a decision to move that idea to a development project. So again, we've adopted that functionality as well. So if an idea moves forward, it auto creates a project for us, and then we can start to populate it from a development perspective. Just move along. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time. Oh. So again, I think Jes showed a quick view on this, but the system's got amazing aesthetics. We've set ours up internally, integrated with our single sign-on system. So we go in, enter our email and passwords, and it's literally a 1-button press and we can access PPM. And it enters onto a front web page, and then you can obviously easily find what you're looking for. We're really looking forward to updating our aesthetics and starting to shape that up with our Convatec branding. So that's going to be another really nice professional step forward for us. So to just go on to the development. So once the development project's set up, the PM can then go in and start to complete the scoping fields. So this is where we define out our objectives, our KPIs, more information on what the business justification is, what markets, what therapeutic areas we're going into. And there's a number of bits of key data that are key for us that we can go in and drop in. We've implemented a number of drop downs. It's slightly different to the way the demo that Jes did was set up. We actually look at portfolio on a business unit level, and we have drop downs within our project entry that can define out the type of new product development project. So we have like core, adjacent, disruptive. So we can categorize our projects in that way. And then we can also apply strategic drivers from a drop down as well. So it all links back to our business unit strategic direction. And again, we can add target dates and who our project team is. And that's linked to our Active Directory as well, which is a really nice touch. So we can go in and actually pick the people who are on our team and indicate what role they're going to be taking on. And from the kickoff, we've set up project reports with the present it function. So we're able to auto generate project charters now that we can send out to our core teams, and they can do a auto DocuSign just outside of the system to approve the charters, and then we can store it on our team's channels. So that's been a really great addition as well to help us lock down on the scope with the team. A couple of points there. So just moving on to the next slide. So again, Jes has gone through the easy functionality and usability of the team of the timeline planning function. So again, that was really nice for us. There's a really nice drag and drop style to that, which makes it really easy to use. And again, the risk and the issues portion is great on an aesthetics front, but it's enabled us to get some consistency with how we define our risks and gives a really nice view on where we see the risky areas and what we should be focusing on. So again, it comes back to consistency in how we run our projects, set them up, and also how we catalogue our risks and issues with the team. So that's been really great working with our core teams on the projects to manage that. What's really good as well, I think Jes referred to it earlier, we're able to link to our teams functionality as well. So we can drop the URL for our Teams channels for the projects into the Microsoft Power PPM system. So everything's integrated and linked together. So again, when our core teams want to go and have a look at a project, and they can go into the PPM, see what's going on with the project, but they've also got the URL link to all of the project folders as well, which are situated on Teams. So everything's together and it's easy to find and access. And that's been a really wonderful addition for us. Okay, so just on to the Power BI piece. So just where are we heading next? So at the moment, we're just creating how we want to utilize Power BI. And this is going to take us a step into the future on how we report on projects and portfolios. So this is just a snapshot of what our project reporting dashboards likely to look like. And obviously the goal is we can start using this in our reporting forums. And this is how we'll run through a project rather than a PowerPoint dashboard. It's a really clear, clean, consistent way to report on the project. It's, clear at highlighting our critical risk, showing what key activities are coming up, how many tasks we've got completed, and it can also show our revenue versus spend trajectory. And it's got a really nice summary of the KPI status. And as Jes said, we've set up our security roles so that we've got PMs who can access their own project and edit it. We've got program leads who can access all of those projects exclusively up to a certain program. They can assign backups, obviously, if they're out. And then we've got separate portfolio managers and senior leadership who have got access to be able to edit the portfolio portion, so that we've got control over the business units as well. And then obviously what Power BI is going to give us is additional functionality, so people can access and go in and have a look at the project and portfolio statuses without manipulating any of the data. So we're really looking forward to that. And then just on the portfolio and business unit piece. So again, the goal is for us to be able to go in our senior reporting forums and view a particular business unit and look at the health of that portfolio. But what's really going to be great for us is we can start to use the information to drive wider business discussions on the health and the balance of our cross-business unit portfolios. So we can explore things like, where's all our spend situated? Where are we using all of our resources? What does our launch cadence look like? We want to explore looking at chances of project success versus, what does that risk do to our revenue expectations? And we can also look at things like, are we going into two similar markets and there isn't much in other markets? Is everything tiered to one therapeutic area? So it can really support looking at our pipeline in detail and where we are today and where we need to get to, and making sure the balance is right, but also making sure we're aligned to our strategic goals. So again, that's going to be a great tool for us to be able to manage that. And what I like about this as well is it pulls up the key projects that we're managing in the business unit, so we can focus by exception. And this will flag to us, these are the high priority ones that are looking on yellow and red. They're the ones that we need to be focusing on. So it's a really nice view and gives us a lot of information that we can use. Okay, so just to close out, we are on an enhancement roadmap with the Power Platform. We started out with a pretty basic out-of-the-box functionality for PPM. It's working really well. It's making us more efficient and consistent already. In the next week or two, we're shortly going to be focusing on building up and creating our Power BI look and feel. We are looking forward to enhancing our planning functionality and task management, so we can improve our project team engagement on projects. And we're also looking to implement automated workflows for our stage gate functionality. At the minute, we are clicking through when we've got approvals for stage gates, but we actually want our senior team to be able to approve it, and then it, once everybody's approvals are listed, it can move to the next gate. So we're really looking forward to implementing that as well. And for us, which I know is a pain point for a lot of business, is the resource management piece. So we really like the functionality in the team planner that Jes referred to earlier. So we're looking to build up that resource management and utilization piece as well. So our future vision is to use this more and more, not just for NPD. We want to roll this out across our technology and innovation organisation. So there'll be other projects and studies as well as NPD. And we want to get to a point where we're looking at business cases and financials as well, and building in that extra level of business portfolio view. And again, we'll be looking to move to more Power-based systems so that we can start to use the Power platform as a business enterprise solution. So I think this is my last slide. So I hope that's give you a good feel for how it's working for us as a customer today. I'd really recommend the system, and we're really looking forward to enhancing our ability in the Power platform. So I think that's me, and I will hand back over to Jes.
Great, Kristen, thanks very much. Nothing much left to do except to actually see if there are any questions. If you have it, now is the time. You have to use the chat box for that. I'm not seeing that many at this point. Let's give it another shot. But other than that, thank you, Kristen, for your contribution. It was really well timed, and you even got to show some of the portfolio reports towards the end. That was really nice, as well as the future perspective. And we timed it to make it within the hour. Who would have thought that, right? Imagine, imagine that.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like we planned it.
Exactly. I can tell the audience, if you're too shy out there to just send over questions right now, it will be, this broadcast will be made available on demand, and Jonathan will make sure that the slides are distributed to everyone. So that's the good news here. We can share with fellow employees and managers. So I think, if we're not seeing overwhelming number of questions coming in, the ways to catch us are the following. Please connect with us. My personal email is jes@projectum.com. So you can also, direct questions directly to me. And other than that, we just thank you so much for listening in today. And a final warm thanks to Kristen for being here as a keynote speaker. Thank you, Kristen.
No problem. Thanks, Jes.
Have a great evening out there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.